Testing, testing. I don't think it was coming through. It didn't look like it was coming through. But if it is, Artemis is going to be paired up with that Mammon and the Geb as well. The top three for your Order side team, while Roundtusker and On Her locked in on the other side. This Geb Artemis dual lane that's locked in here is late game scaling kind of to a T. I can't think of a more late game scaling dual lane. How do you feel about what they've locked in here?
I definitely like the fact that if they're going to commit to the scaling, you might as well put it on both gods. Both gods love to get to that late game. I know Artemis loves to get 6 items online. That's when she starts doing just insane damage. Is able to take those 1v1s, possibly even against and her that came out on the side of Cyberpunk Otters, followed by with that Charon, another scary duo lane. It's kind of like a battle of the early game versus the late game. On Her is going to want to get in there as soon as possible, do the 1-2 combo, start throwing out the chunking autos and ultimates, and Charon being able to fear people, that ultimate that fuels people back into him. Just a really good setup for them. We're seeing bans come out now for both teams. Cuckoo on the side of Mystic Sea of Serpents, Morgan on the side of Cyberpunk Otters. Morgan, I kind of understand. She's really good solo and mid late right now. She can kind of be a little bit of a flex pick, so I get her out of the way if you don't want to play against her. Also, the Thor and the Agni coming out.
Yeah, I still think standard across the board, with exception of the Vulcan. I don't know. Uh, I'll be honest and say I'm pretty sure it's Hershey mid, but it could be someone else. I don't know if that's a Hershey special or what the Vulcan ban is there, but that's the only one that, at least to me, that's kind of catching me out a little bit. Otherwise, just good standard bans across the board. Cuckoo feeling very good. Agni always going to feel good with those long range stuns. And initiation type mage is always going to be something to be scared about. And the semi-global presence of Thor, never something you want to go up against as we wait to see what this fourth lock-in is going to be. It's the Scylla hover here, and it will end up being locked in. How do you feel about Scylla currently in that mid lane?
Scylla is not necessarily a bad choice. I think she's definitely one of those comfort pick gods that you were kind of alluding to earlier. She's not tippity top of the meta, but I know a lot of mid laners that just know how to play Scylla. I think it's one of those mage gods that you pick up as you're getting into Smite and learning it. And so I think a lot of mid laners have a Scylla of some varying skill level in their back pocket, and now we're going to see it tonight coming out with the Cyberpunk Otters, followed up by the Eggshell and the Awilix on the side of Mystic Sea Serpents. Kind of a bait mama we thought was going to be jungler, but it could be Awilix now jungling after seeing that Scylla maybe just too good of a pickup, being probably one of the best counters to Scylla, at least in the jungle role. Eggshell also provides really good damage. The ultimate, getting to not only heal your teammates but do damage to the enemy at the same time, is so important and can be so turn the tide-esque in a fight. Followed by the Raw, going to be closing out the picks and bans for the Cyberpunk Otters.
Yeah, I like the Awilish. This has got to be a Mammon in the mid lane then, with Ishel in the solo lane, and I would imagine it's Ra solo over a Scylla solo. Neither really gods that I think of as being solo lane mages, but can definitely work over there on that side. I feel like the Awilish was a great lock-in, as you mentioned. Counters out the Scylla, counters out the On Her, and then you have a Geb with the knockups. Like this, Ishel has a knockup, Mammon has a knockup. There's definitely, I don't know if this was a sort of comp that they were planning for the Awilish the entire time, or if it was just a, wow, this fits super well. But either way, it fits super well. I like the draft coming out of the Order side team here. Now that we can see the full 5 on both sides, is there a team you're kind of leaning towards?
Order side, Sky, has a ton of scary champs on their side. Mammon.
Oh, this isn't League.
Oh,
They're gods.
Oh,
Go
no.
home.
I guess I'm out of here, folks. It was great casting with you guys, but no. Mammon, really good god, super scary. Like you said, almost every single person on their team, besides the Artemis, has some sort of knockup to help out the Awilix. Just really scary combos coming out from the Order side, but I'm not going to count out the Chaos side either. Rat is probably one of the top junglers right now. Again, I think Scylla is just a really nice comfort pick. So I think it's going to do very well for this mid laner if they're able to start popping off, getting some of those I'm a monsters just coming down, chaining them together. That would be super sick for them. The only god that I'm kind of sure about right now is going to be the Raw as we kind of jump to the end of camps being taken out. The Raw is kind of interesting to play into an eggshell, especially because since he's so immobile, besides the movement speed from his passive, it might be it might be easier for the eggshell to land that combo that she so desperately wants to. The knock up into the root, or the root into the knock up into the double one. So it could be a scary time for this Raw. Also, Raw does an insane amount of damage out of nowhere. The snipe's going to be hurting no matter what lane he's in. So we'll just have to see as we get later into this game.
Yeah, you're giving the viewers a bit of a spoiler right now. They can't not see that we can see the game quite yet. But I am excited to see how things turn out, because as you mentioned, there's just a lot of possibilities on both sides of how things could play out in this game. And it's going to be I mean, I feel like there's a lot of lanes that you're going to need to keep your eye on of what could possibly be happening. Is there a specific spot where you feel like the most action, the most pressure either will be placed or should be placed? Is it just dual lane, as we've seen time and time again? Or do you think that maybe there's a different lane based on these comps where we might see a little bit more?
I think that there's a lot of flexibility for this jungler to get a lot of work done on the order side, because the mid laner and the duo lane has those knockups for them, right? So Awilix, usually you want to farm a little bit, you want to get all of your abilities online, you want to get that ultimate up so that you can start doing those combos even by yourself if you need to. So having that possibility to kind of just at level 2, level 3, 4, and 5, just immediately be able to do Awilix things because you have this team comp that has sort of built itself around you, whether that was planned or not, is really going to work for their favor. So I actually feel like they could do a little bit of a split motion if they're able to keep it on their side favorably. They're able to make things happen. It would be very beneficial to them. I think what's going to happen in solo lane is what's going to happen in solo lane, and that's always going to be my response to the solo lane madness. Let them fight, let them hit each other. It doesn't matter. Go get a gold, right? Go get XP. There's so many camps on the left side, right? Like, make it happen over there, right? So that's what I'm expecting. That's what I would hope for this Awilix, for example, to do. But on the other side for the Rat, I think it's going to be pretty easy to bully this Maman if he's able to get into her, just because he's able to stun her, he's able to get all of his damage off before she can even dash. So even if she dashes into him, he's kind of already done everything he wants to do, and she's probably going to be pretty chunked down. She's going to be pretty squishy in this mid lane.
Yeah, we might need to be careful. God, that scales. Both of these mid laners scale very hard, and a little bit of fireworks in the mid lane, but no blood spilt quite yet. Jumping in a little bit further into the game, about a minute in or so now. Who needs to see buff spawns? Everybody knows how that works. We're getting right into the action here, as pressure to be expected going the way of the Cyberpunk Otters over in the dual lane as well. You mentioned, solo laners just gonna fight it out, but Ra is not one that I'm used to seeing over there in that solo lane. Do you think Ra has kind of the ability to keep up with what an E-Shell is going to be able to do?
If the Raw is able to start getting that movement speed up and running, able to start kind of dodging out some of these abilities, as long as he's not getting hit by the full combo, I think it's going to be very easy for him just to kind of sustain. As we look at the mid lane, he's gonna be able to sustain through a lot of it if he's able to dodge even some of it and not get CC locked down for 5 seconds while the eggshell is just pummeling his face, right? So the Raw has some options for sure. And again, the Raw is going to do some incredible damage come late game. So we'll just have to kind of see as he's able to squeak out. Like I was saying, if he gets the movement speed up and running, he's able to squeak away from those abilities. I think it's going to be really good for him if he's able to keep doing that.
Yeah, a lot of movement speed and those abilities, as you said, could come into play here over in the solo lane matchup. We already see Death the King on the invade over there on the left side of the jungle, stripping away some farm, tried to find something in the dual lane, but was unable to do so. In the mid lane, though, I mean, both of these gods scale, right? Mammon and Scylla, neither one known for their early game. Does I know Mammon has great scaling, but does anybody scale with Scylla in that mid lane? Is there anyone that can keep up with that late game kind of hyper carry mage?
It's definitely going to be tough for the Maman just because she does play like an assassin because she is an assassin. So she really wants to get in. Her abilities are very close range. Even her ultimate's only a couple feet in front of her. So it's going to be tough. I think damage-wise, they're both going to just kill people. I think they're just going to blow people up. It's going to be nuts at the 30-minute mark. You're going to blink. People are going to be dead. But I think it's really going to come down to, is the Maman able to get around the Scylla route, able to find Scylla when she doesn't have her dash up, stuff like that, force the ult, and then try to back away, or maybe dash into her so she can't alter. But I'm going to put that on pause as they look for this raw kill.
The blink in here from Deathly King trying to set this up, but no real damage. Stood in the heal the whole time and just kind of held their ground, did Krusty's, and able to just live through this first gank attempt over in the solo lane. So props to the Raw that I have a couple times mentioned. Maybe not the best choice, but might not be out of the woods yet. The ult from the Wheelish Gravity Surge going to be off the mark there. Not going to be able to get the pull. And that's 2 ults committed onto this Raw and no blood for it.
Raw just being so tanky and being able to sustain in his heal. The Scylla, picking an interesting place to back right there, able to get it off. But we're looking at this rat coming in on the dual lane.
Has the ult. Here comes the Desert Fury as well, but the shell is popped, and what a great cataclysm coming out from Frag O'Clock there to just make sure that Faulty Reaper can make it out safely. Another gank attempt on one of these side lanes, and another unsuccessful attempt at First Blood. Almost 5 minutes in, still not a single kill on the board.
Great ult coming out from the Geb. The Geb literally said, no, this is ending. It's stopping right here, right now. And that's exactly what happened. All 3 members of the Cyberpunk Otters unfortunately get wrapped up in that ultimate. Artemis being able to get out pretty freely. They're still kind of fighting. Awilix now coming over, but I think she's just going to back, not going to be able to find anything. But yeah, very, very successful ult coming out from the Geb. These teams, I think they're looking for what they want to, but they don't want to press the go all in button yet, right? We're 5 minutes in. A lot of the gods on both sides of the aisle want to scale. So I think right now it's the game of, if we can get it, that's great. But now they're looking to get it in the side of the solo.
Kingston could be under a little bit of pressure, but has the mobility and the sustain. It's actually Death the King who will get First Blood on the other side of the map. Almost a double kill, but not gonna be so. Tyler 2K lives with a sliver of HP. We thought that gank was over there in the left lane, and Death the King just pulled something out of nowhere to make sure that First Blood goes the way of Mystic Sea Serpents.
Death the King's ultimate is down, so I'm going to presume that Geb got a sick, nasty knock-up, and the Aelix is right back. That is the speed and the craziness of Aelix, right? She was almost back at that purple buff while on that first gank attempt. We thought it was over, and then out of nowhere, probably jumps back over the wall, gets into range, ults the support, and it just absolutely destroys him while they still can, right? Charon's going to be a very tanky board in the late game. So if you're going to get a support kill, if you're going to do it, now it's probably going to be the best time too before, it's 30 minutes and the ADC can once again damage him,
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a few times now. The late game for both of these teams is terrifying. Mammon, Artemis, absolute late game hyper carries on the side of Mystic Sea Serpents. Scylla, the Raw, even the on her, gonna be absolutely terrifying in the late game for the side of the Cyberpunk Otters. But a good jump impale combo here gets the ult for ult Desert Fury. One more auto, and Tyler 2K will get the first kill for the Cyberpunk Otters here in this match. 7 minutes in, pushing himself that much further towards the late game, but needs to be careful. Look at this rotation from both the mid and support. I'm not sure that Tyler is
He
aware
doesn't
this
know.
sparked out will get a kill somewhere else. The jump is good to buy some space. Another
Oh.
great impale gets the beads, but the damage is still here. The cataclysm is out, and it's just too much. Hershey will get credit for that kill, answered back immediately over there in left lane.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll that back a little bit to where the Artemis got taken out. Unfortunately, Artemis struggles really hard with CC immune abilities coming out from Hunters. You know, the Anor, the Ishtar, gods like that can kind of just say, I don't care about the boar, I'm gonna keep fighting you. It's really tough for the Artemis to fight into, especially in the early game where, you know, she hasn't scaled yet, hasn't gotten her all of her items online, her crit, all that good stuff. Also, seeing a Transcendence coming out for this Artemis, just seeing that now, maybe going for that OG build that we kind of saw bubble to the top at the beginning of season 10, that really interesting, weird build for Artemis. I don't even remember what went into it, but it was definitely some Transcendence and crit. But I'm going to put that on hold as a duo fight breaks out in the right side jungle.
This is more than a duo fight. More people are rotating into this. The Searing Pain comes out, but it's a lot of damage onto Krusty's. Can they make it out of this? Living for a long time, and Sparked Out gets over here to get a kill, but Krusty's will end up falling to death. The King, who's very low, and Sparked with a double kill, might be looking for more, but needs to back up. Now, the Geb is the one in trouble, on the run from the remaining members of the Cyberpunk Otters who want to try and find this kill. But Geb is, as you mentioned earlier for the Charon, a tanky boy, and is able to roll out and get away from that fight. But back and forth, we had a almost deathless first 5 minutes, and now 9 minutes into the game, there's 7 kills online.
Both teams said, forget it. We're boxing. We're throwing hands. All right, we're done. Yeah, just really good job, I would say, on Sparked Out. He actually hung out in the air for a second. He did realize that some of his teammates were going to go down, but picked a very good time to come crashing down while they were trying to clean up kills, and got 2 kills for himself on Death the King also, putting him at 2-2, currently 3-0-0 on this rat, doing all that he can around the map. Really good stats coming out so far. And before I can stop talking to give the mic back over to you, we see Charon just get absolutely obliterated. Forget Tanky Boy. He's just gone. Unfortunate ultimate mishap coming out from the Aerolix, not able to get that knock up onto the Ross. So ultimate down for right now. But yeah, just wicked fighting, just breaking out of nowhere. 6 minutes in, 0 kills. 4 minutes later, 8 kills on the board between the two teams.
It was just some warm-up as Hershey gets another one. The tick damage good enough to get the pick onto Guzzy. Needs to be careful, though. Here comes that Ratatosk we were talking about earlier. Good stun. The Stone Shield is there. Dash under the tower, though, will save the life of Sparked Out, who was never in too much danger. But I feel like, you know, it's game one. They were just warming up a little bit. Now they've stretched, they're flexing their muscles, and they are just here to play.
Absolutely. Is able to get the beads from the Mama again. Hold that phone as we see Rat just come in and absolutely take out the Artemis. KO wasn't even able to get the ultimate off to try to stun people. Sparked Out, kind of going all out in this match so far.
He really is. I mean, Rat, one of the probably, I would argue, the best early game god we have in the lobby right now, and Sparked Out is just using that to their advantage over and over again here, just 11 minutes into the game. Beacon's going to spawn in 45 seconds. I mean, with gold as even as it is, do you feel like either team has a real advantage around this beacon, or do you want to see them both fight for it?
I actually want to give the advantage to the Cyberpunk Otters if they show up 4 or 5 men strong, just because they have the Scylla circles, they have the Charon ultimate that can literally encapsulate the entire beacon with it. The Anor damage with his ultimate, just a ton of circle AoE abilities that can push the Mystic Sea Serpents out if they're not careful. The Mystic Sea Serpents really want to get in with the double assassin comp, and if they're not able to do it, if they're taking too much chip damage, it could be all over. But maybe this Raw could be getting got.
Searing Pain was used at the blue buff pit, but didn't find anything. And with 2 members over here in right, could mean the beacon goes the way of Cyberpunk Otters, but we were both just completely wrong. Mystic Serpents walk up, take the beacon. Who cares about all of our theory crafting? They just say it's just ours and walk away cleanly with that first neutral objective of the game. But a blink in from Sparked Out to try and take the purple buff gets immediately met by Tusky, but is successful on the invade. There's a rotation in though, but not going to be enough to find this Ratatosker, who's just still a menace on this map right now.
Really good force of the ultimate from Sparked Out. Tusky is actually a pretty long cooldown, especially in the early game before you're able to get all the levels. Gonna hold that thought again.
Did use the ultimate to get in here. I'm a monster just off the mark, and for now Hershey will live, but there's a lot of members here. Another great Cataclysm, and Death the King will get a big pick onto Sparked Out. The chase might still be on. Charon in a lot of trouble behind here. No way he is able to get out. No, Hershey will get it with the tick damage, but here's a full health Tyler 2K to try and get some damage in return. The Desert Fury does a lot, but the Stone Shield is enough to make sure the On Her cannot get that kill for the time being. Has to use the beads to get away from the slow coming out of Faulty Reaper. And that will be where the fight fizzles, but it's just scrap after scrap after scrap between these two teams here.
Yeah, just not expecting the amount of engage that came out right after that purple buff was stolen by Sparked Out. Ultimates and blows flying by both teams was able to go the way of the Mystic Sea Serpents in that fight. Just too much damage. I thought for just a second we were going to get a Charon dash kill into the Awolix, but she's a little too healthy, so she was able to get out, but still really scary for both teams right now.
Mostly scary for Krusties at the moment. The blinking from Hershey was great to get that kill, but their return kill is good as well. Sparked Out will get that one, but Hershey answers back. Blow for blow for blow. It is killing me, apparently.
Blow for blow, as you're saying, just both teams not wanting to give an inch, wants to try to get a kill back as we see the Awolix in a lot of trouble. I'm the monster gets missed. Awolix actually kind of tripping this man up as they're running.
What a jump to make it away from that one. Death the King will make it out, but just barely. That was very close margins for the Awelish, but able to live for the time being. Now 15 minutes in, kills 9-6, and gold still pretty much equal between these two teams. Neither side really having a huge advantage, and with how good scaling on both of these teams have, it's going to be interesting once we get to this true late game.
Yeah, especially because right now neither team are really looking at objectives. They're just looking at each other. This is actually a giant arena game. We've tricked you. Welcome to the other game mode. Fighting nonstop by both teams. I think they just want to get that edge before they start looking at Gold Fury, at Pyro. But every single time a kill has been gotten on either side, it's been answered back. So I think right now they're just going to, once again, derail what I'm saying, and they're going for gold. Will they be able to show up in time to stop this?
Gold Fury getting low. There are members of both sides here, but Otters will confirm it. I'm a Monster is late for the secure, but good to help get the kill, and Frag O'Clock will fall as well as Hershey. And yeah, again, just completely proven what I feel like that's got to be our shtick, right?
Yes.
Snips, we talk about something, we're like, yeah, this is how it is. This is a fact. And then we're wrong.
We're just wrong. And I love being wrong, because usually that makes way more interesting games. Like, if I'm right, this is, 2-0, someone's going home super happy, someone's going home super sad. So I'm really glad that we are literally ulting the Charon down. Does not matter, doesn't care, just going in for it. Now another fight breaking out.
Support for both of those objectives would be good as long as no one else on the Otters ends up dying. They might actually get more as Krusties gets the kill on to Kingston. And this is just quickly turning in the way of the Cyberpunk Otters. What was almost no gold between these two teams, now around, let's call it 3.5 1,000 gold. Priscilla has to use the Aegis with a sliver of HP, but does manage to make it out. L just barely. Death the King, though, cannot say the same and will end up falling to Sparked Out. Now the chase is on for even more. This fight is not done yet. Tusky comes out, gets the beads out of the on her as well as the Aegis as Tyler 2K is on the run, but they can't quite finish these kills. Krusty's is very low on the Raw, but will be able to make it out. Good shell to save the Raw's life there. That was a very extended, drawn-out mid lane fight, all because the beacon was up or about to be up and now is getting charged up by the Mystic Sea Serpents. There is some contention, though, by the Cyberpunk Otters. They don't want to give this one up completely for free.
Yeah, Cyberpunk Otters don't want to give this up. They've already lost the first one kind of like without any fight from them. So really wanting to push in now. Low health bars on the side of everybody. But the first blood for this fight is going to go to Geb, followed by the Maman for Hershey, probably sealing the deal on this beacon fight and letting Cyberpunk Otters get another objective.
They are just quickly pulling ahead now. That gold lead's going to extend that much further once they cap this beacon. And I just like blink and you miss it. And now look at that, 5,100 in the lead are the Cyberpunk Otters when we were at a state of complete equality. Not, I don't know, 40 seconds ago, 60 seconds ago. Things are just really shifting in favor of the Cyberpunk Otters here.
Yeah, Cyberpunk Otters are just able to find a little bit more every single time, even though deaths are happening on both sides of the field. It just doesn't matter because, you know, it's a kill for a kill, but now they got gold, or it's a kill for a kill, but now they have beacon. And that lead is slowly pushing away as this Charon is looking at this Artemis. The Artemis is in a really bad shape. I don't think she knows she's on the wrong side of the map, all coming out. Aegis.
Beads Aegis were good. The ult came out. That is everything. But it's enough. Faulty Reaper still walking away here. Finally has backup from the rest of the team. How did they do that? I thought they were going to lose the 1v1. And then I was like, well, they lose the 2v2. But they got out of the 3v1. But Hershey now the one in trouble. Hershey needs to dodge the Ammo Monster and does. Sparked Out is up in the sky looking for a place to land, but will just decide to back up for the moment. The juke boots coming out of this Artemis of Faulty Reaper are something else.
Absolutely. And the relic usage was just on point. I don't think I would have been too scared. The Aegis would have come out. The beads would have come out. I've been praying while I'm running, like all of it, especially when you find yourself on the completely opposite side of where you should have been, right? Actually, next to the T1 tower of the Cyberpunk Otters. I thought it was gone and done. But the Artemis able to get away, able to get that massive speed boost from her too, and the shield from Geb, just sealing the deal and getting her out. Cataclysm also coming out to make sure that she survived. Just a lot was used, but the Artemis survives, which is probably really good to still retain that pressure as Primal Fury gets started.
It is below half HP. Otter's the one leading the charge. They're going to pop the Frenzy to try and secure this next neutral objective. Can anybody from the Mystic Sea Serpents get in? No, they cannot. Otters will grab that next one as Tusky just runs rampant through the team without any follow-up over there. The Otters are just playing the map so well right now and pulling further and further ahead. Pyromancer's up, though. But Hershey won't be up for it. Tyler 2K finds the pick on the mid laner, and that should just allow the Otters to walk towards this Pyromancer, should that be what they choose to do, as the junglers have a bit of a 1v1 that might get ruined by the supports. Blink in, though, and this is problems for Death the King, trying to win this and cannot. Will end up falling to Sparked Out. The Searing Pain wasn't even needed, and now it's Frag O'Clock who's in trouble. Tyler 2K picks up another kill, and forget the Pyromancer, they might be looking for fire, and they might be looking for this E-Shell. Kingston will fall to Krusties as well, and Cyberpunk Otters, they just, something switched. They turned on something, and they are just online.
Yeah, what an unfortunate kind of domino cascade for the Mystic Sea Serpents. A 1v1 that breaks out between the junglers in the right corner ends up being a chase down of 4 members of the Mystic Sea Serpents, letting the Cyberpunk Otters not only get fire, not only get pyro, but now be in a super favorable position to start knocking down some of these towers.
Yeah, not quite the 12-minute fire giant that we saw last week.
The 12-minute and 20-second fire giant.
Never. I don't think I'll ever fully recover from that. But in this game, 21-minute fire giant, still relatively early. You have to imagine it's just going to be the towers here. I mean, how many picks do you think the Otters are going to need to get before they decide, you know what, we can look for a bird right now?
Right now with Fire Giant, I gotta imagine being in their seats right now. They have now broken ahead, right? We are now at a 10K lead
Hmm.
on the side of Cyberpunk Otters. I think it's only going to take one or two very specific pits, but it doesn't matter because they're looking for a pick of their own, and they're going to get it on Tyler, probably one of the best members to get Fire Giant off of. Unfortunate that he went back to his left side to get some more farm. Just, it's the one more wave complex that ruins it for Tyler 2K and loses the Fire Giant buff.
Yeah, that is huge for the side of the Mystic Sea Serpents. I mean, that is just exactly what you want to see. A little bit of a scuffle in the mid lane. Maybe it looks like Sparked Out's up in the air, and Sparked Out lands on top of Hershey, who's just deleted. Answered back with the pick onto Tyler 2K, and maybe evening things up here. But we're 22 minutes into this game now. We're pushing towards that late game, right? That we've been talking about this entire time. Might not have a chance to actually talk about any of that as they're continuing to scrap here. I can't believe the Mystic Sea Serpents wanting to step up right now to try and fight this with the lead that you just mentioned. The Otters have. Beacon will go their way, but they're fighting like they're still a tier 1. You need to be careful. Stone Shield is good, and they will back up.
Fire Giant who? Beacon what? 10K up? No, that doesn't matter. We're the Mystic Sea Serpents. We're in. And I do like that confidence, right? You can't play like you're 10K behind, especially in a comp match, right? You just got to accept where you're at. You got to accept what's going on. Great Aegis coming out from the eggshell. Even though her health bar was pretty high, that would have been so much damage coming at her from the side of Cyberpunk Ours. But I'm going to cut that off as a fight breaks out.
Sparked Out was not the ultimate back up again, landed, and Death the King is gone. So is Kingston as Tyler picks up that kill. And now it's on the run. Double kill from Guzzy with a single I'm a monster. Will just turn that completely in favor of the Cyberpunk Otters. Now it is Faulty Reaper who's in a world of hurt, has Tusky back up, but too little, too late. The mid Phoenix is gone, and Guzzy styles on two members of the Mystic Sea Serpents.
You asked me the question, how many picks would it take for them to look at a bird? And when they're just giving them 4 picks, I think you should have gone for a Titan. But I look at the map now. It wasn't there. I was so shaken by the I'm a monster coming crashing down, not only eliminating a squishy, also taking out the big boy Geb. I just didn't even know where the Titans were. My eyesight crossed a little bit, But good tower sweeps coming out from the side of Cyberpunk Otters now after getting that atrocious 4-man pick underneath the T2 that got knocked down so swiftly, but followed by Phoenix and another T2. Titan's still pushing up, but Sparked Out getting caught out in the jungle side of the Mystic Sea Serpents. Now they're going to take apart that Titan. But honestly, even with Sparked Out going down, what incredible Fire Giant power play coming out from the Cyberpunk Otters. Was able to take down 3 structures, was able to get 4 picks, and extends their lead even more. 12K now on the side of Cyberpunk Otters.
Yeah, that was just exactly what they were looking for. Worth it to lose your jungler there. You wouldn't have preferred it, but not going to be the end of the world. 19 seconds and Sparked Out will be back in this game. Primal Fury going to go the way of Cyberpunk Otters as well. And this gold lead is now just oppressive. Right. I mean, it's going to be so hard for the Mystic Sea Serpents to fight into it. You mentioned you didn't mind that they were playing confident, and they were stepping up so far, but we saw what happened when they tried to take a fight up that far. I'm going to make a counterpoint and say, yes, I like the confidence of playing that way, but I don't think they should do it again. I think they should learn their lesson. I mean, the being this far up is scary, and at least Death the King is quick, but just barely dodges out that ultimate coming out of Krusty's there, and will be able to live the tail to tail. But I mean, do you want to see them step up like that again? Am I the crazy one for thinking they should play a little, more defensive?
No, I definitely agree with you now that, we saw what we saw in the mid lane. I do like the confidence. I like that they're not, out of the game is what I'm saying. Like, I'm glad that they are in it. they're going to try. Geb maybe coming into Cataclysm, but I don't think he's going to get there in time. No, he doesn't. Now kind of getting chased out by the Cyberpunk Otters.
Uh-oh. This is problems for the E-Shell. Good Aegis, good beads, but is it going to be enough? No, it's not. Tyler 2K will get credit for that kill, and now the chase could be on. This is a big blink in, and now it's Hershey in a lot of trouble. Has the Stone Shield, has a good ultimate. Lots being used to try and keep this mid laner alive. The alternate timeline proc is huge. Hershey is living for so long, but it's not enough. Tyler 2K will get credit for that kill, and it's even more trouble. Death the King falls to the Charon, and there are 5 members strong with Fire Giant rushing towards this Titan. They get the kill on Faulty Reaper, and that should just seal the deal. It would need to be a 1v5 from Frag O'Clock, and Geb just really ain't built for that. The Titan falls, and Cyberpunk Otters get a decisive mid to late game victory over the Mystic Sea Serpents.
Where did that game go? Where did it go? We were at 6 minutes. We were talking about builds and, scaling, and I blinked, and the game's gone. It's over.
Yeah, the Otters just decided, all right, I don't know, maybe the 15-minute mark, they just decided this is our lobby now, and absolutely ran away with it. And they just all played lights out. I mean, sparked out. 11-3 and 11. 8-2 and 8 for Tyler 2K, and Guzzy might have only had 2 kills, but what a double kill it was to get those.
Oh my goodness, just bringing down the hammer with I'm a Monster. Want to point out though that in the player damage department, never mind, I was looking at the wrong stat. I'm gonna stop what I'm saying. Player damage coming out though, insane. 21k for the Raw. 30k for Sparked Out in a 27-minute game. Just absolutely going nuts. I do want to touch on the Artemis build for 1 second before we leave this game 1. I don't know what the chef was cooking.
You haven't seen that?
But maybe
I don't know what it is
for a little bit longer.
I have seen versions of that build going around.
So I was saying when I saw the Transcendence, I did say, I was like, this is again at the early, like when season 10 was just getting kicked off, Artemis actually was in the meta for 1 day. And she was running a build like that. It was like a power / crit with a little bit of attack speed in there somewhere, like just a little bit of that. So very spicy build coming out from Faulty Reaper tonight.
Yeah, I've heard of this Artemis build. I thought it was a meme, but I finally got to see it in action. Didn't quite work out the way that I assume Faulty Reaper would have wanted, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again. Give it a little bit more of a try, because they're all good items that you bought there. So I'd be interested to see some more cooking in some of these builds as we get towards game 2. But for now, we're going to go to a quick break and find out if the Cyberpunk Otters can make this a quick 2-0, or if the Mystic Sea Serpents can turn things around and push us to a game 3. Don't go anywhere here on the Frank's Retirement Home. Welcome back, everybody, into game 2 here of the Canes Division matchup between Mystic Sea Serpents and Cyberpunk Otters. If you missed game 1, was relatively close for maybe 15 minutes, and then Cyberpunk Otters just dug deep and found something, ran away with the game, ending 27 minutes into it. We never even got to an enhanced Fire Giant. And now, as we hop into picks and bans for game 2 here, first 2 bans, standard what we saw in game 1, but we see a shift as Mammon is banned away, but by the team that played at Hershey. Not going to take that god again. They don't want to give it over.
Yeah, if you're not going to play her, then probably get rid of her. She is a pretty nasty god out on the battlefield right now. Raijin also being followed up, pretty standard. Raijin does a ton of damage, can be played mid, can be played solo. Another god that can be in a lot of different positions. So if you're not going to play him, if you don't really like playing against him, get him out of there. And that's what the Cyberpunk Otters are going to do.
Yeah, we did not see that ban in game 1, though. So that's going to leave some stuff up that got through, especially with the Ratatosker ban coming through as well, taking that one away from Sparked Out. I wholeheartedly agree with that decision. He just looks so good on it, but it's left the Apua open, and that is the first lock in overall. But it's also left open the Ganesh. It's left open some other strong mage solos like the Morgan Le Fay. The On Her is still up and available. I mean, where do you want to see the Otters go for their top two here?
Well, we're going to see the On Her come out, which makes sense. Just a really good ADC, did really good last game against the Artemis. Cuckoo also following it up. Cuckoo's actually kind of risen a little bit. I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
like I was seeing him, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And now, every so often in the comp game, in my rank games, I'm seeing Cuckoo and he's getting work done. Cuckoo is one of those, kind of going back to the Scylla topic I brought up, one of those gods when you're first getting into the game, you can understand him pretty well. You throw the tornado out, you have a speed up, you have a lot of damage. Spirit of the Nine Winds can both do a lot of damage and get you out of situations with that knockup. So I feel like a lot of the good mid laners have a Cuckoo in their back pocket. Now we're going to see it coming out on the side of Cyberpunk Otters, but we do see the Ganesha that we were just talking about actually come out on the side of Mystic Sea Serpents, followed up with the Camazotz. Ganesh is just so annoying. He dashes on you, puts up the pillars. You're taking a ton of damage. You can't do anything because he's in you the whole time. It's a lot. It can be a lot. Especially for this and her, if the Ganesha gets on him and he can't dash out, that could be really tough. The Cucullin only has a speed up, so if Ganesh is able to get in, start silencing him, start not letting him be able to get that movement speed going, it could spell doom for them. So I think a really good pickup coming out, followed by Charon, pretty standard tanky boy, got a lot of work done last game, so makes sense to run him back.
Yeah, and I mean, going back to this Cuckoo, it's just a Guzzy special, right? Probably, from what I know, his most comfortable pick. And with Cuckoo just being flat out good right now in the meta with just a ton of damage, ton of secure, like you mentioned, I think it's a great lock-in for their side. The Camazotz, something we haven't seen yet picked or banned away in this set, but always a good choice in the jungle currently. Second phase of bans coming through, though, is this Vulcan, again, making sure Hershey does not have access to that one, as well as the Ra, taking that one off the board. And then it's the Morgan Le Fay and the Thor, taken away by the Mystic Sea Serpents. And this fourth pick that we're going to see the Otters come out with, they're still looking for a jungle and a solo. You would imagine that we could see some of these picks go weird ways, I suppose. What kind of springs to mind as available to you that they should head towards?
Jungle wise, I mean, the Awilix didn't do too bad last time, even though it was played by the Mystic Sea Serpent. So you could pick an Awilix, especially Camazotz being able to jump, something like that. But I also feel like Thanatos is a pretty good pickup right now. Does have a semi-global like the Thor, like the Rat, which both got banned away. So you could see it come out. They're just going to pick up Scylla, though. And once again, prove me wrong. They're going to go for the mid laner. Scylla.
They have Cuckoo. Is
Oh,
this
they
still
do
a
Cuckoo.
solo?
Is this?
Because there's no way Guzzy's not playing the Cuckoo. If they have a Guzzy and they have a Cuckoo, that's gonna go together. This has got to be Krusty's on the Scylla would be my guess. I mean, we saw the Raw, not something I expected to see, but it kind of worked out for him. I don't feel like Scylla builds well in solo lane, but also
they
I
still
don't know.
needed a jungler, Dr. Shrew. This could be the Scylla jungle coming out for the side of Cyberpunk. I know. I know you don't like my hot takes on where God should go, but this could be it. We could be seeing a Scylla jungle right here. But I'm going to talk about the Toth and the Hachiman first. Toth, an incredible mid laner, has so much range, has an ability to dash out with even extra range. Just a really hard god to play into, and the fact that he can play over the walls. Unfortunately, my Scylla jungle is going to be dashed away by this Niza.
No,
Hachiman.
Naja support.
Oh, Naja support.
No, yeah, this has got to be Scylla solo. I don't know what other world we could possibly be in. Guzzy traded away. Wow. Okay. I was just completely wrong. Guzzy apparently has moved on from the Cuckoo, and it's going to be Cuckoo solo, which I still didn't expect to see today. This is some spice coming out of the Cyberpunk Otters here. I'm kind of excited to see how it all works out because I'm not sure how Cuckoo solo works. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, do you think we're gonna see just full damage from a Cuckoo in the solo lane, or do you still go the like lifesteal bit of tankiness kind of build?
I mean, honestly, at this point, that build is so good, and for some reason not getting touched ever besides one time, that maybe the Cuckoo can run it. Maybe the Cuckoo can just go lifesteal sustain with a little bit of tankiness and still do Cuckoo things. I mean,
Against an Opwa?
I I don't know. It's definitely going to be an interesting matchup coming out today. But last game, they also picked some spice. Raw went into the solo lane and actually performed pretty well and was able to help the team get a 1-0 over the Mystic Sea Serpents. So I don't know anymore. I'm just going to let the Cyberpunk Otters do the Cyberpunk Otter stuff and talk about it. So,
True. I mean, we're always wrong. We
well, I
talked
mean,
about
we
how we're
are
always
always
wrong.
wrong.
So, Cuckoo might be the sleeper OP over there in that solo lane, and Krusty's is about to show us how to do it. I'm excited to see, regardless. Something we also didn't talk about with the craziness of that picks and bans phase. A sub coming in here for the Mystic Sea Serpents. Big Nick Energy stepping in for Reaper, going to be filling in for that ADC role this time. So that is going to change how things work. I mean, a different person has different comfort levels with different gods. They have different play styles, different ways of communicating. In comms, how do you feel about what is it going to change for a team, especially being one game down in the set for the Mystic Sea Serpents here with this sub and ADC?
Honestly, it might bring some good mental into the team, right? Your last ADC took the loss with you. You're getting a brand new ADC. Like, yes, your team is down one, but they didn't play that game. They might have good energy coming in. They could turn around the whole team's ideas on what's going on. Also, going with, I would argue, probably a better ADC right now. I would even put Hachiman maybe in the top 5, top 10 of the ADCs being played right now. Just he got buffed to such a degree, and even after the nerf, he does really good damage. His getaway also acts as a stun, which a lot of ADCs don't get that option. So just really good synergy coming out with this Ganesha. Could really just like go all in if they want to. Might even be able to play into this and her a little bit better. Has a get out ultimate, unlike Tusky, which is kind of a get out ultimate, but not really, just stuns him for a second. And the on her being able to CC immune that with the ultimate or with the B, it just gave way too many options. So maybe this Hachiman actually brings a lot to the table, both the player and the god.
Yeah, it will be interesting to keep an eye on that dual lane to see what shifts, because Tyler 2K has been working on this on her very well. Not only in this set, but with the game we casted last week of the Otters, Tyler 2K did very well on the on her. Definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with on this pick, and looking forward to see what Big Nick can do about that over there in the dual lane. Here in the mid lane, a little bit of poke going back and forth. Toth versus Scylla, a much different matchup than the Mammon versus the Scylla that we saw in game one. I know Hershey's comfortable on this Toth. I specifically remember going up against him in a ranked game and getting absolutely rocked by him on this pick. Do you feel like Toth has an advantage over Scylla in the early, or is it still just going to be both want to scale?
I think both are gonna want to scale. I don't think there's necessarily an advantage coming out from the Toad. He definitely has the range on her and is able to clear the wave maybe a little bit more safe than her, at least in the early game. But both gods are artillery gods, right? Scylla wants to throw out abilities and dash over a wall. Toth wants to throw abilities through the wall. Neither of them want to be in the thick of things. So probably a little bit better for Hershey at least, so that they don't have to expend so much to get in and try to pick up the Scylla, which we saw them having a hard time doing towards the later end of the game. We saw them living for 6 minutes, but it just wasn't enough anyway. So definitely a little bit better on this Toth. I'm looking for a lot more strategic chess play come out from the both of them while they try to farm up and get those level and items.
100% going to be Something to keep an eye on as well. Over in the solo lane, it does look like Krusties is going for the Vamp Shroud sustain build on this Cuckoo. I've never seen that before. I'm excited to see what it looks like on a god like Kukulkan, because it's just a very different take on a god that usually wants. I mean, in previous metas, you just double stacked on this god. But first blood in the mid lane, gonna go to Guzzy on the Scylla. Maybe Hershey getting a little bit too aggressive. And with the help possibly of Sparked out there on the Naja, no assist for him. So just a solo kill for an early game Scylla. That's not something you see too often.
No, but it is always a good thing to see if he's on your team. Scylla with early game kills is really good. Scylla wants to scale, wants to get farm, wants to get to that later part of the game, 20, 25 minutes. So being able to get a kill right off the bat and get that first bounty gold even and put that in your pocket might set Scylla up for a pretty easy mid game if they're able to keep getting pressure off of it.
Going for a different build as well is Guzzy. It's conduit gem into what could be a Chronos pendant, that lost artifact tree, instead of the more standard sands and book start that we're seeing coming out of Hershey here. A difference in just how they're wanting to play the game. Do you like this on a god like Scylla?
Scylla maybe not needing the alternate timeline as much as some other gods. Cooldown also, you already have the bow. Your crushed isn't that high of a cooldown, especially towards the later parts of the game. So could be seeing a coin for the pen, like you said, the Chronos pendant maybe for the cooldown. Don't know, but the Nizo's actually going to miss all in this
Wow.
solo lane. Nothing quite happening, but a lot of cooldowns being expended on both sides.
Yeah, but look at that. Kingston, full health, almost full mana. Just didn't even care about everything that was getting thrown. And then they just dropped the ult and lives through it all. The Ganesh ult used on the other side as well, fighting over that shield buff. But it looks like it did go the way of the Otters, who are getting aggressive. Another great impale coming out from Tyler 2K, but no real follow-up off the back of it. I feel like Apua is just such a strong pick right now over in that solo lane. Just can shrug off absolutely anything. I'm just still surprised that we got to see that locked through, as a Big Nick takes a lot of damage on that Hachiman.
Bans kind of look like a mixture of meta and comfort. So when that happens, you can't confidently do either one to the fullest of effect, right? Because if we ban out all meta items, the Apua never makes it through. Poseidon, gods like that are just so impactful in the state of Smite right now. And then on the other hand, comfort, right? So if you guys know each other very well, you know what you're going to be banning. A double stun coming out from both mid laners. Toad kind of losing out in the engage, though. Kind of interesting to always see. But the Kukulkan finally maybe gets taken down. Aegis expended as well. Finally able to bring the Wind Dragon down, the movement speed, and unable to get him out there. Unfortunate, but good job on Kingston and Death, just being able to capitalize on the immobility of this Kukulkan, giving us a kill on the side of Mystic Sea Serpents.
Yeah, exactly what you would want to see on the solo lane side if you are the Mystic Sea Serpents. That's a successful invade coming out solo there by Sparked Out, just walking up and taking that purple away in the face of the support. Not really anything Frag Clock could do. That'll leave Big Nick without some experience and without a buff around his waist for quite some time here. I mean, across the map, though, things pretty even. 1-1 in kills, gold, net neutral. 6 minutes into this game here. Just 200 gold between these two teams right now. Last game, we talked a lot about the late game scaling potential, right? Is that something you're still thinking about in terms of this game? Is there a team that has an advantage come that late game?
I wouldn't necessarily say an advantage. I feel like both teams want to see the later part of this game, right? Paw is just going to get tankier. Scylla and Toth are both just going to do way more damage, especially towards the later parts of the game. You know, when Toth starts hitting you with an ultimate for 1,200, 1,300 damage at the start of a fight, it's tough, you know? And on the other side of that, a Crush coming out would absolutely devastate somebody. Knees all low, but doesn't care, actually tries to sash back into this fight.
Hershey does not have the ultimate, probably what got the Naja low in the first place, so can't quite finish that kill off. Just a little bit of poke between the tanks as things in the mid lane fizzle out for the time being. But it seems like both of these teams, especially in mid, not averse to fighting whatsoever, as Big Nick Energy is stuck underneath the tier 1 tower now, just taking so much poke. Was 2 levels down a moment ago. It seems maybe it's more a level and a half or so down on this Hachiman. Hard to fight into and on her, though. I can't say that's too surprising.
It's not, and especially once you lose, it's all about losing that initial pressure, right? If you're able to keep up with the Anher, if you're able to fight into him, keep up the same levels, be on the same item thresholds as him, then it's a lot different of a story. But when Anher starts getting those levels on you, starts getting those items on you, it's extremely tough. As we see the Nizar all comes out, and probably a Kamazot's death.
Does manage to live for a little bit longer, but Tyler 2K will say thank you. You lived long enough to give me the kill instead, as Death the King does end up falling. Now the Otter's going to go for an early Gold Fury here, just 8.5 minutes into this game. There is a lot of steal potential coming out of Hershey, but Hershey's got to be alive for it. In a lot of trouble now on the Toth. Just one more auto, one more ability will get it done, and Sparked Out will grab that one. The Fury has not been completed yet. Was leased for a moment, will be picked back up. The ultimate, I'm a Monster, is ready for the secure, but it's not good enough. It's too late, and Mystic Sea Serpents steal away the early Gold Fury. You might have gotten the kill onto the mid laner, but the objective goes the way of your Order side team.
Hachiman might be a level and a half down, but his ranged autos don't care. Able to weave through and secure it off the back of I'm a Monster, just unfortunately a little late, comes in right after the Gold Fury goes down. So Cyberpunk Otto's losing a little bit of gold there, keeps the game actually even after getting the kill on Toth before the Gold Fury was even picked up. But once again, these teams are just showing, at least in this early game part of it, that they're willing to trade blows. You know, they're willing to get dirty and fight, even when we think that one of them might be a little bit farther behind than the other.
Yeah, it's like what you were talking about in game 1. This might just be Frank's retirement arena based on how much scrapping we're seeing in this. But we also saw an early objective there, so I can't even think you can. I don't think I could make the statement that I just made, but I made it anyway.
We're wrong. We're just wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just
keeping
wrong
the theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Taking a look, it looks like it is going to be just the classic mage solo build coming out of Krusty's. Has the Pythags and went straight into the Genjis to pick that up. So, you know, I'm excited to see what it looks like as we progress into late game. Does Cuckoo still have damage with this kind of build? How tanky can a Cuckoo be? My eyes are going to be locked over there on that right side of the map.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, Cuckoo just doesn't have some of the same things going on for him that other solo mage laners have going on for them. But never mind, because I see a double kill happening, one on one side, one on the other, both super low bars. Teams electing to not go to help the other, just kill our person, which I think just proves our statement that they're just going to keep fighting.
They are not done yet over here. Beads forced out onto Death the King. Dashes under the tower, but gets rooted. The Fear's going to come out as well, and that is a dead Kamazotz. And Big Nick Energy could be quick to follow. 3 members diving underneath the tower, living for quite some time, but Guzzy will gobble up the Hachiman there, but Hershey with a huge ult. The double kill from a later rotation out of the mid laner. Make it 3. Give it to him. Ganesh can help try to slow this down. One more ability might just seal the deal. But Call Me Nomad's living for quite some time. Not long enough, though. Triple kill going the way of Hershey. That ultimate was just spicy.
Yeah, Hershey letting us know that first double kill in game 1 was not a fluke, was not an accident. was just going to do it again. Was just going to let it rip. Playing Maman in the first game, it made it a little bit tougher for him. Was still able to find some success, but now on the Toth, like we were talking about earlier, has that range, has that ability to come around the wall and say, "You're dead, kid." Business as usual, gets a nasty double ult to just confirm both kills on the mid laner and the jungler of the Cyberpunk Otters, and then was able to pick up another one on Call Me Nomad that ended in the jungle. Really good plays coming out from the Mystic Sea Serpents to at least stem the bleeding. I take it back. I'm wrong once again. Kingston unable to pick up the Cuckoo kill and falls himself to the knees all over in the solo lane.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great bait coming out of Krusty's there. I couldn't figure out why the Cuckoo hadn't backed a sliver of HP for so long, but it's because they knew help was coming, and that kill will end up going that way. But now the Naja has rotated into the mid lane. Windfire Wheels takes up one and lands, but the Emma Monster off the mark, and Hershey gets to live to see another day. But can you get away from the Toth, or the Caronot, excuse me? The answer is no. Krusty's will get a kill onto Death the King, though. So 2 for 1 so far in this little fight that was spread across multiple lanes, and that seems like that will be the end of it. Again, just back and forth fights, but this time the Oni Fury is up and available, and this time the Otters are here in force. Can Big Nick Energy do it again? Get the Hachiman steal. Is gonna go for it and does it again. He does it again. They let him walk up and just click the left mouse button to steal away an objective. That has got to be just heart-wrenching for the Otters.
Auto attack buff on the Hachiman's one, just making sure that he gets to come in and do exactly what he needs to do for his team. Yes, you are losing some players over in the mid lane, but it doesn't matter, because as you're trying to take that gold for your Hachiman steps up and make sure that the gold lead stays exactly where it needs to be. Paw kind of in a situation again. Nizat takes him up in the air.
Could be trouble, but lands right down into the Spirit of the Nine Winds, and Krusty's will pick up yet another kill. Good poke onto the Naja, though, but not going to be enough to find the kill, and now it could be Frag O'Clock in a little bit of trouble. We'll be able to dash away. Tanky on this Ganesh, but the chase is still on. The root comes out. The crush lands. Here comes the Emma Monster off the mark. Won't be able to pick up that kill. A lot invested to try and get Frag O'Clock living there. Pretty good for the support. Death the King will get a kill onto Tyler 2K over in the left lane while the Pyromancer started up. Nick's not over here, so maybe the Otters can actually pick up an objective this time, but Hershey is the one you would imagine is better at the secure, but under a lot of pressure from the jungler, and will have to dash away. And without the Hachiman's crazy secure abilities, Otters pick up the Pyromancer.
Yeah, good job on the Nizat to keep out Hershey right there. They're just boxing each other, unable to get in there, set up the wall like he wants to. Probably get this one in there to try to secure. Just was not able to do that. So good job on Sparked Out for playing gatekeeper there, kind of making sure that Hershey can't really get in. And really good job on Death and Big Nick, able to pick up a kill in the left side lane. If you're not able to rotate over, if you're not able to fight for that Pyromancer, then get something else on the opposite side of the map. That is Smite 101, and they did a really good job picking up the Anher, making them go up 1-2 right now.
Yeah, Big Nick Energy, the Walker pull-up right now, absolutely going crazy in this game. Stolen a couple Furies away, has a slight level lead over Tyler 2K, who we've seen just pop off on this on her before. So props to Nick for being able to pull this out. Game state as a whole, though, 1,000 or so gold in favor of Mystic Sea Serpents, who are looking a lot better this game. This was around the moment where the Otters kind of clicked it into high gear in game number 1, but now the Serpents, they seem to be the ones who might be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, able to keep the Cyberpunk Otters kind of in this mud with them, fighting tooth and nail to see who's going to try to break away from this game. You just see people try to get picks on all sides of the map, right? Skirmishes in mid breaking out, skirmishes in the jungler breaking out, Camazon chasing out the Cuckoo in the solo lane. Just everyone's kind of looking for this big fight to take them to Fire Giant right now.
Yeah, we're inching towards that fire giant dance type territory, but the beacon gonna spawn in right around 15 or so seconds here if I can do math. But the fight is gonna break out beforehand. Dharmic Pillars traps in the support, and in comes the jungler. I'm a monster used defensively in response, waiting for that bat to land, but it's too little too late. And Hershey will get the kill onto Guzzy. It's trouble for someone up there that got taken up by the Naja, but the Karam will dash away. Low health bar for Sparked Out, but will just barely be able to make it out as well. I thought we might see multiple kills as the Cuckoo ult comes through, not really grabbing much of anybody, but it ends up being just one kill so far. Beacon, however, going the way of the Mystic Sea Serpents to extend that lead just a little bit further. They might not be done yet. Gold Fury is up and available, and they're still getting some poke damage here in the mid lane, but we can see that Tyler doesn't super care. Maybe needs to be careful though, because that's a lot of Camazot's damage. Not enough to find the kill after a good sash coming out from Sparked Out now, who is trying to find something. But just a lot of scrapping, no real further kills. As I say that though, the blink in Opwa, maybe not the target to go after. Just walking away, eating up those bodies, calmly dodging out the ultimate from the Naja there, but Sparked Out will not leave without getting at least one kill and takes out Death the King, and now is on the run.
Just insane chasing on both sides. Neither team wants to let people go. Still trying to find something is Sparked Out in this left side jungle, still looking for sashes. I think is going to be taken out finally by the side of Mystic Sea Serpent. Lived for so long there, was even able to pick up the Camazots at one point, but the fight is still kind of going on. I think finally both teams are going to let it go, pack up. Low health bars on the side of Mystic Sea Serpent right now. A potential Gold Fury maybe for the Cyberpunk Otters, since they just watched everybody back, but I guess not. They're just going to make sure that I'm wrong as usual. Going to go back, going to get their buffs, going to go back to a state of neutral. Just insane fighting coming out on both sides right at this moment. 19 minutes in, and we are finally starting to see a little bit of a bigger lead come out from the Mystic Sea Serpents, about almost 3,000 if, my brain wants to work tonight. So we're seeing kind of a push away, maybe not as a steep one as we saw from Cyberpunk Otters, but let's see if the Mystic Sea Serpents are able to keep this lead.
We might see Pyro for Fury traded out, but you need to be careful because Big Nick is over here on the side. Can't quite make it this time. Close, but no cigar now. Might pay for it with his life taken up into the sky, slammed back down into death. Call Me Nomad will pick up that one. The Pyromancer on the other side looked like it was taken by, I think it was the Mystic Sea Serpents who got that. They have a runic bomb. They did not have one earlier. So at least they will trade out that objective, but now it could be Hershey in a lot of trouble. Has to use the beads, gets hit by the fear, but is no longer the target because the fight has turned back towards the beacon. Low health for the Charon, but able to run away. Can the same be said for Guzzy, who is incredibly low, but Sparked Out is here on the defense. The beads are good enough to live for a little bit for Death the King, but not enough to live forever, as Guzzy will get that kill, jumping in from Tyler. 2K and Sparked Out will pick up another kill for themselves as Kingston falls. And Cyberpunk Otters, maybe we were talking about how the Sea Serpents were looking good and we were wrong, because the Otters are really starting to turn things back around here.
Nizar actually goes back in and picks up Toth under his own tower. Ganesha just unable to do anything there for his mid laner. Probably going to see a T1 fall here too as minions pour in. Never mind. Tyler QK wants to make sure that I cannot call things. He's going to back up, which makes sense. Huge fight once again in the mid lane. I thought just for a second that everyone was going to get pushed back, especially when the Camazots came in, was able to put the Scylla down to about 100, 200 health, but Sparked Out just able to keep the mid laner alive, bursting down the Camazots, and was then even able to pick up a Toth on the back end there. And now we're seeing a Fire Giant get picked up at the 21-minute mark.
They're going for it here. The zone, though, it might have just been a bait, and Frag O'Clock might have just fallen for it very low on the Ganesh. Has the Dharmic Pillars, but falls to the Tornado. Kingston, though, will answer back with a kill onto Tyler 2K, so 1-for-1 support for ADC. But
Oh,
Kingston popped by so much damage. The I'm a Monster was out there, the Cuckoo damage, the Windfire Wheels deleted, but Hershey answers back. Now it's 2-for-2 here in this fight if you're keeping score. Charon very low. Hershey gets the double kill to make it a 3-for-2 in favor of Mystic Sea Serpents. Make that a triple kill again on the Toth. Absolutely swinging when it counts is Hershey on this mid lane mage.
Toth got exactly what he wanted. This fight just got extended way too long, and as we're fighting, as we're digging deeper, more low health bars are popping up, more damage is being popped out, and then Scylla goes. Tyler 2K goes down, followed by the jungler. Like, it was just an insane amount of damage on this Toth, just making us think that maybe this god's easy. Maybe I can play Toth. You know, don't
I
let me. I'm
cannot.
not a mid laner, but just
I'm a
doing
mid
it.
laner and I can't.
Yeah,
I don't understand Toth. I can't make it
you know,
work. You should
Scylla
just be able
has
to hit
I'm a
autos. You
monster,
can't.
but Toth is I'm a mid laner, and he's just making sure that he keeps his team in this game. I think it was the Hachimon at first, stealing 2 golds with just long range autos, and now Toth said, "Step back, I got this," and is putting this game on his shoulders right now.
Yeah, 7-4-0 right now. This is just absolutely crazy. But production in my ear pointing out something I had kind of noticed, but not really realized how insane it was. Sparked Out is just clearly at the top of the damage charts right now on this Naja. 8K above second, which is Hershey on the Toth that we've been talking up for the past 5 minutes. He is just playing so lights out on this Naja right now. The damage is really online with that Deathbringer. I mean, he is a force to be reckoned with in the jungle.
1,000 damage a minute right now on this Niza, just doing exactly what he needs to do. Great ults coming out by him, just making sure he's able to get those targets that he wants up into the air to set up for the Scylla ult, to set up for the Cuckoo ult. Really good damage as Pyro gets picked up by the Mystic Sea Serpents.
They're looking for it, but there's lots of damage on the other side. Appa has to pop the beads to make sure they stay safe over there as the hunters duel it out around the Titan. Our focus is here around the Pyromancer. Just poke damage, just making sure the other team does not have the ability to pick up this objective so far. In fact, they'll both just back up towards the mid lane. And the Mystic Sea Serpents, they have backs coming out. Cyberpunk Otters, they're looking for this Pyromancer now. They're looking to try and pick up this objective. But the Final Judgment is available for Hershey to try and maybe steal this one away. Gonna go for it, but it's perfectly leashed. Call me Nomad, though, was not leashed. And that is a dead Charon on the side of the Otters. Hershey just does so much damage. Sparked Out, though, could be in a lot of trouble. 1v3 and in the middle of the lane. Still alive somehow, in the Spirit of the Nine Winds will come through and knock away the Ganesh. And that is a huge blink to make sure that the Naja makes it out. The Dharmic Pillars will try and lock people down, but it's not quite enough. Krusty's able to just live in the midst of all of this damage that's coming through right now. And all in all, Pyromancer is the true victor here, still alive and kicking.
Pyromancer is now 1-0 against both teams. Great gameplay coming out by him. Able to not only face take a Toth ult, but actually gets the guy behind him eliminated while he tanks it. So just really good job on Pyro. But I want to talk about Sparked Out and Krusty's playing a game of Dance Dance Revolution with each other, seeing who has the better juke shoes going on right now. Both getting themselves in pretty bad situations and both getting out scot-free, kind of. I mean, Blink was expended on the Niza, but who cares about a Blink when you're alive and you get to go back to a fountain?
Well, Pyromancer's getting it looked at again, or at least threatened by the Cyberpunk Otters, as the Emploi ult comes out defensively there. That's a big cooldown, and now Pyromancer getting low. Pyromancer deleted by the Cyberpunk Otters. I thought maybe we'd see a steal.
Oh!
Whoa, look at the damage coming out of Hershey. Just barely able to live through that. Is sparked out on the Naja, but definitely has to reset after that one. Will live to tell the tale, though. So that is a boon for this Otter squad who picked themselves up a Pyromancer relatively for free. But with less than 1,000 gold or so between these two teams 26 minutes in, we're pretty much at a state of even. And Fire Giant, now the biggest meal on the map.
The dance has begun. Both teams kind of setting themselves up around Fire Giants. I expect this to be a time of warding, counter warding, and kind of getting ready to see who pulls the trigger first on this Fire Giant dance.
Yeah, both teams have some, good secure. The Cuckoo ult, the I'm a Monster from Guzzy. But then on the other side, the Final Judgment from Hershey. Big Nick's auto attacks, apparently incredible at secure. I mean, I don't know. Do you feel like either side has a real advantage when it comes to this biggest neutral objective on the map?
I think for Cyberpunk Otters, the first step is to get Hershey out of play. Whether that's him going back.
I mean, Big Nick.
Yeah. So sorry. Big Nick's autos are just so incredibly potent that you kind of need to get both of them out of there. You got to get them sent back to Fountain in some way or another, gray screen or not. But good poke coming out from Hershey right now might actually get crossed out, sparked out. It does.
He got crossed out. Absolutely gone. The Dark Pillars comes out and the chase might be on for more. Now it could be Guzzy in trouble. Take that back though, because Guzzy gets a kill onto Death the King. Both junglers falling in a 1-for-1 trade, but it's the Mystic Sea Serpents who have the health advantage, who are the ones stepping up in the jungle and the ones starting up this Fire Giant now. Starting to burn it, only at 3/4 HP though, and there are members of the Otters still nearby. They might be looking to actually take this fight, and they might just be looking to try and bait in something here. They will leash the FG for the moment, but it's really just Frag O'Clock up there, and Kingston gets popped by Tyler 2K. That's a big pick, but here comes an ultimate off the mark. Hershey with a rare miss in this set, unable to find anything there, but they're still going to try and find damage on the Call Me Nomad. The Charon taking enough, though, to just barely make it out, and Tyler 2K is swinging on her good Aegis, but the I'm a Monster is too good, and Guzzy will get yet another kill on this Scylla. Now chasing further. If I'm the Mystic Sea Serpents here, I am backing up. I am getting out. 3 members remaining, 2 with low health, and they will just retreat into their jungle. Hershey taking the time to do these buffs, though. I appreciate the want for that XP, for that gold, but maybe just return to base here, buddy.
Yeah, just incredible plays coming out on the Cyberpunk Otters. Tyler 2K alone gets both relics from the mid laner and the Aegis from the ADC, just swinging into them both. Also able to juke out the Toth ult that allows him to just stay in and continue that pressure. So just really good positioning coming out from the Cyberpunk Otters right now. Even able to get the Opwash to start that kind of retreat by the Mystic Sea Serpents. Again, both teams, it just feels like a pendulum right now. Like one team does something amazing, and then they get pendulum swung on, and then that team does something really good, and then they get pendulum swung on. So kind of seeing a back and forth, especially in the XP difference. Not so much the gold, but we are seeing a pullback by the Cyberpunk Otters. While I'm talking, Sparked Out just eliminates Death in the top right jungle. I think Death was probably trying to get a blue buff steal, maybe trying to counter ward. I don't know, but he was in the wrong place, wrong time, and Nizop picks it up.
Let's open the door for the Otters to step into this FG pit. We've crossed the 30-minute threshold. This is now enhanced Fire Giant, and makes it even more important for both of these teams. Beads needs to be forced by Sparked Out to make sure that they live there, but here comes the Charon ult to try and fear people away. Big Nick has to get on the horse to get away, and damage going both directions. Big Nick can't make it out, neither can Kingston, and that's 2 quick picks going the way of the Cyberpunk Otters, but Hershey is swinging, and full health on the Toth isn't enough to save the life of his support. No, Frag Clock will fall, and now Hershey's up in the air and will land in a world of pain deicide for the Cyberpunk Otters, and they lose nobody. They're going to walk back over and take an extremely easy Fire Giant now. No one's going to be around to take that one away.
This was the fight Cyberpunk Otters were looking for. They were able to take out Death, which was the first pick to start that, automatically making it a 4v5. And after that, it was game over for that fight. Just getting exactly who they wanted, was able to pick people. Hershey was doing a pretty good job, sending damage back, but Hershey just kept running out of bodies to protect him. And sure enough, as soon as the Ganesha falls, he gets taken up into the air and comes right back down to 5 members of the Cyberpunk Otters, now pushing in 4 Phoenixes.
That Phoenix is just gone. They absolutely melted the mid-bird using that runic bomb that they had to make sure it just is deleted. I also like they used a bomb to get a bomb. They bombed the pyromancer after that fire giant there, because why not? I mean, they've found themselves again in an incredible lead position. Something flipped and they've just ran away with it. Over 10k in the lead now are the Cyberpunk Otters. Now granted, 32 minutes in the game, that means less than it did in the previous one, but still, I see recipes on the side of the Mystic Sea Serpents that have not gotten sold yet. So that is item advantages going the way of the Otters. I mean, what do you do if you're the Mystic Sea Serpents? It's not like you're out of this game yet. What's the game plan? Who are you playing through to pull yourselves back into this game?
I think right now it's definitely a game of protect Mr. President, right? Toad is just sending out damage left and right. Still kind of being out pressured, at least in damage wise, by the Nizza, but just doing an incredible job of throwing damage at the enemy team. I'm seeing low health bars every single fight, even in that deicide, right? A deicide, if you just look at that on paper, you're like, wow, they got absolutely steamrolled. But all 3 carries on the side of Cyberpunk Otters were low. They all took a ton of damage from this Toth. He just wasn't able to find the kills that he wanted to before he lost the team that kind of surrounded him. So right now, I really want to see them kind of play through this Toth. Let him play through the walls. Let him get damage off. Throw out good wards to allow him to do damage over the walls. And I think you still have a game here. The defense on the side of Mystic Sea Serpents is going to be very good because of the Toth, because of the Opwa. If he wants to, he can even throw out Empty the Crypts. It doesn't matter. Like, just so much potential on the side of Mystic Sea Serpents if they're able to find the picks that they want. It's going to be difficult, though. Scylla and on her, both very slippery gods, and now they don't have the Aeolix that you had in game 1. It's going to be even tougher to be able to get to these options.
The siege has been in wait for the Otters, but they have a wave and they might step in now, but the wave is deleted. And they're not able to get into that Phoenix. The fire waves, though, continuing to pour down the mid lane. Cyberpunk Otters playing patient here. They know they have the advantage. They're waiting for the opportune moment to try and get aggressive. But there's that damage from Hershey. You were mentioning a lot of poke onto Tyler 2K, who's an important member of this siege. But in the mid lane, junglers are duking it out, and here might be the go button for the Otters. They step forward. The left side Phoenix is absolutely melting, and it's gone. Can they win the fight off the back of it? Tyler 2K will get a pick onto Kingston, trying to find more with the Desert Fury, but doesn't quite find it. Here comes the Scylla all over the wall. Does a lot of damage, but no kill. The Kuka Tornado not enough to get to pick onto Hershey, but all the while, the Titan is at least sort of looked at, is reset, and will look no worse for wear. But still, 2 Phoenixes down now for the Mystic Sea Serpents, and all 5 members left alive for the side of the Cyberpunk Otters.
Cyberpunk Otters just know when to go in, doing a very good job of waiting patiently. They're waiting to see what the Mystic Sea Serpents are going to do, and then bam, Hershey's half health. Camazotz is having to ult out. Paw gets taken out by Tyler 2K, assassinated in between those 2 Phoenixes. Like, just unable to kind of find the fight that they want to right now. Can't find that pick that they want to. 4 ultimates actually still up for Mystic Sea Serpents. Don't know if those are expended during the fight. But I really want to see them kind of play around this Toth and then kind of collapse on somebody. I think that's exactly what this comp is made to do. Ganesha being able to pick somebody up, put the Dharmic Pillars down, empty the crypts for Opwa, Death having that safe ultimate that also does a ton of damage. Like, I really do think if they kind of play like an Iron Jaw style, like we just close around somebody and get them. I think that would really work for them, but it's tough, especially right now, being a Phoenix down.
Yeah, not an easy position. The Phoenix is down is the hardest one to defend as well. Now that the EFG has respawned, and it is going to force the Mystic Sea Serpents into a position that they might not and probably will not like to be in. You have to contest this EFG, you would imagine. You have to be careful of those fire waves because they're about to pour into the Titan room, and those waves can do a lot of damage. Someone's going to need to go back and deal with them, but Camazotz is already low. Death the King needs to be careful with the positioning, and looks like they might be the ones to back up because Krusty's is on the split push on the Cuckoo. The Fire Giant is already gone, and it felt like the Sea Serpents just couldn't make a decision quick enough there, and now they find themselves in a torrid position. The mid bird is down, Fire Waves pushing into the throne room, and EFG around the waist of 5.
Cuckoo actually kind of doing a pincer maneuver. Never mind. Yeah, actually, never mind to the never mind. Going to do the pincer maneuver, looking for kills right now, looking for picks, but it's going to be Krusty getting picked by Hershey. Incredible damage coming out. Tyler 2K answers back, though, taking the Ganesha, but gets answered back again by Hershey. I don't know what's going on right now, Doc.
There's a lot of damage going both ways. Tyler 2K is in a world of trouble, but gets a huge pick before he dies. Hershey's gone. And now Death the King will get credit for that kill. Are they going to chase this out even further? They do want to find the support, but Charon is tanky, and Sparked Out is not someone you want to ignore in a team fight. That's a lot of damage onto one, but the Windfire Wheels is off the mark. Big Nick is here with a lot of damage on the Hachiman. Can they catch up? Yes. Death the King will get credit for that kill. 4 dead on the side of the Cyberpunk Otters, but look at the Titan, half health by the minions alone. The Mystic Sea Serpents won that fight, but at the cost of the Midbird for a second time, at the cost of some Titan health, and at the cost of EFG. I mean, they're still in the game, so worth it? I don't know.
It's so tough because, you know, when you talk about the individual trades, right? Every enhanced Fire Giant that you take away from Cyberpunk Otters is in some way a net win. But as you were saying, Doc, when you start stacking up everything that they lost to achieve those 4 kills, it's tough to say that they even kind of like won out there, right? You know, they do get the 4 kills. They do push back the enemy. Obviously, the Titan is still alive, which is, of course, the main objective, but they lose so much, and Cyberpunk Otters are already respawning, right? As I'm talking, they're already back up. They did not lose a single objective or structure because the Mystic Sea Serpents are so pushed in right now. You know, I've taken so much structure damage. I've taken so much map damage to the Cyberpunk Otters. It's going to be tough. They're going to at least have to do that one more time, if not 2 more times, if they want to see a win here. I'm not saying they're out, but they're definitely in do or die territory.
Yeah, backs against the wall for the Mystic Sea Serpents, but they did put up that defense. They do have, you know, shown here that there are signs of life. They're not ready to get out of this one yet. Oni Waves pushing down all 3 lanes, and it's Oni Fire in the mid lane. That will absolutely kill the Titan should it make it in. Now, Mystic Sea Serpents, obviously, on the defense here, will stop those waves from coming through, but that is something they have to worry about. They can't fully be prepared for this Otter squad that is marching down the right lane, going to look to siege out this Phoenix once again. And once we see Death the King appear on the left side of the map, it could be the go button for the Otters, but again, they're going to play patient. They're going to wait to try and step up to this bird because they know they can afford to play patiently. Sparked Out, though, might try to prove me wrong, but has to ult away. Lots of ults getting used here, and actually it's Tyler 2K who has to back up to try and get away from that one. The bird's still standing for the moment, but the Otters, they can just heal up with this Fire Giant. They can heal up with just normal HP 5, and the advantages that they have. We're trying to step back up to this bird again.
Really good damage coming out from Mystic Sea Serpents. Aqua actually completely standstilling their team for a second with Empty the Crypts. But it doesn't matter, as Cyberpunk Otters are just going to go in again. They don't care right now. They're looking for kills. Unfortunately, Scylla being the first, followed by Sparked Out. I don't know what's going on up at the top there, but it's not going the way of the Cyberpunk Otters right now. Another falls to death right now on the chase.
The mid-bird falls in trade, though. So again, they find big kills. Again, they find 4 kills to be exact, but they lose out on their mid-bird. But they did successfully defend the right bird. That Titan, though, just not getting a chance to heal.
Yeah, Titan's not getting a chance. This will be the second time I believe that minions have taken out that fire giant, have taken out the mid bird while fights are happening on other sides of the map. So again, like I said, this is the second one. They were able to eliminate 4 members of Cyberpunk Otters, actually stepping up this time with a minion wave to see if they can push down that T2 would be a huge, at least mental win for the side of Mystic Sea Serpents. Those 3 towers have been up, this entire game, unable to bring one down, but now they will. Will they push up? I don't think so. Members of the Cyberpunk Otters are coming up now. They're going to take their victories, their 4 kills, and their T2 tower and back it up to probably start another Fire Giant dance.
Yeah, Fire Giant has respawned once again while all of that was happening. But it is going to be the Otters with full force in numbers around this one. So that 4-man kill again, not gonna matter for this Fire Giant. 30 wards already for Frag Clock, just doing the support life as Vision becomes ever more important again over on that right side of the map around that EFG. It seems like Frag Clock, carrying the team, at least in the Vision department.
30 wards and a Spear of Deso. He said, move over, Toth. I'm the damage dealer now. Going to be giving a little bit extra to his team. Maybe he's just realized that Toth just needs a little bit more in the casting, and he's the man to do it. As I said, the Fire Giant dance has kind of started a little bit. Push back is the Mystic Sea Serpents at the moment, while Cyberpunk Otters starts the de-warding process of the side of Mystic Sea Serpents, getting a little bit more vision, getting ready to potentially do this, but it almost feels like they're kind of trying to sandwich members of the Mystic Sea Serpents right now. These are pushing up the wave over in right, giving themselves as much map pressure as they can before they inevitably start this Fire Giant.
And they will indeed start it up, and no one from the Mystic Sea Serpents is too close. I don't think anybody's going to make it in time to steal this one away. No. Cyberpunk Otters will grab this enhanced Fire Giant, but again, Hershey does so much poke damage. Sparked out. It's going to be forced to reset. Looks like the Otters are going to reset as a whole, or at least pick up this Pyromancer before they start their next siege attempt.
I like this play by the Cyberpunk Otters. They're adjusting. They get Fire Giant twice in a row, and then they immediately try to push with it, and it does not go well for them. So, getting it, securing it, and then backing up, getting more objectives, getting this beacon, probably getting Primal Fury. This is all really good. You don't necessarily need the gold right now, but having all the pressure that you can is going to win you this game, right? So, making sure that, if we have to do another Fire Giant dance, well, now we're doing more damage to the Fire Giant, securing the beacon for extra damage, securing the pyro for the bomb. These are all moves to end this game, and that's exactly what the Cyberpunk Otters are looking to do right now. Grouping 4 strong around this beacon and potentially pushing that mid-bird again as it comes up.
Tell me if this sounds familiar. The Mystic Sea Serpents don't have Fire Giant, are facing a siege with a Phoenix down, or this time at least just respawning, and have to have a Herculean defense to keep themselves in this game. I feel like we've done this a couple times already this game. Maybe the Cyberpunk Otters are going to be looking for this time to be the final time as they set up for yet another siege attempt at the base of the Serpents.
It's going to be pretty tough. Hershey is putting on a clinic right now, making sure that if he's going to lose this game, by God, they're going to work the hardest they have to for it. Doing incredible burst damage, poke damage to this team. The bird does fall while Hershey's in the mid lane trying to do work. Low health bars now on the side of Cyberpunk Otters as this fight kind of breaks out.
Wink away, though, from Sparked Out will secure their life. It actually might be Krusty's in the most trouble, but tanking up on the Cuckoo, which is a weird sentence to say, to back away and get out safely. Will be able to do so. Left side Phoenix drops again, and the mid-bird still alive, but permanently weakened, and it doesn't look like the Otters are quite done with this siege. Yet they will decide to reset though and just strip away this jungle. So once again, the most important bird gonna be down on the side of the Serpents.
Cyberpunk Otters doing a good job. Seeing Toth in the mid lane, knew that that was the moment to go in and make sure the bird gets cleaned up. I like that they're playing even patient, like more patient now. You know, they're getting their one win and backing up. They're getting their one structure and backing up, making sure that they're not hunkered down for too long, giving Toth ample opportunity to land more and more abilities on them. Stripping away the jungle, as you said, giving themselves some buffs to increase their chances of stepping in on this bird. It looks like they're getting close to doing it. Damage being thrown out on both sides. Wave stepping up right now, but JK, Apua, and Hershey making sure that there's no way a minion wave steps in right now, making sure that there's no way that they just get to step in for free right now. EFG, though, so they don't necessarily need the minion wave, but I'm guessing they want a little bit more, secure right now when they try to do this, especially because Hershey is just doing such a good job of pushing them back.
All this time, Krusty's has been trying to set up for a siege on the right side bird as well, but the wave was all the way up at almost the tier 2. So it's just now starting to work its way back down as the fire waves push in as well. But Death the King wants to get aggressive, gets hit by the sash, but has the bat out of hell and needs to be careful because there are a lot of enemies in that side of the jungle. The Apua charging forward at the same time, but no kills just yet. The Titan taking more poke though from those fire minions and still has not had a chance to heal. This could continue to be problematic. I mean, how low does the Titan have to get before you just want to see the Otters walk through and just end the game that way?
For me, Doc, it's now. I do think the Titan is pretty low. I think that they have a ton of burst damage. I know it's super scary, but you have the Cuckoo, you have the Armor Monster. Nor does insane damage. You have the Charon ult to get them off of you for just a second, which is all you need. Honestly, the Titan is so low health that between the Spirit of the Nine Winds and Armor Monster, that might just be all they need to wrap up this game. But they're playing it safe. I totally get it. They want to make sure that they're going to get this game in the bag as we are heading towards the 50-minute mark and a third EFG spawning, going maybe possibly to the Cyberpunk artists are already there to step up and go after it. No contention from the side of Mystic Sea Serpents, just making sure that they keep that mid Phoenix up as much as they can. Fire Giant will go to the Cyberpunk Otters as they probably look for a fourth siege.
Indeed. This is, I mean, we are, like you said, about to hit that 50-minute mark. So we've sung this song and danced this dance a few times before, but Mystic Sea Serpents are just clinging on to life, making sure that the Otters can't quite get in here and get anything done. Oni Fury is not going to make things easier, though, for the Serpents. That's going to be Oni Fire Waves in left, Oni Waves in mid and in right, and it's just going to help the siege even more for the side of the Otters. This might be the hardest defense the Serpents have had to face all game.
It is going to be pretty tough, but they do show up 5-man strong, ready to defend this recently brought back up bird. Is weakened, about a quarter health right now, so very susceptible to on her autos, especially with the EFG or just the team in general. So they're going to have to play it about as perfect as they can if they want to keep this siege from pushing them over. We'll just have to wait and see.
Oni Waves are marching steadily towards the base of the Serpents now, and I imagine that's got to be what the Otters are waiting for, but they might not get a chance to wait. Two big ults used by the Serpents there, and it doesn't find a kill. That could be extremely problematic to not have those available, but it doesn't matter when Hershey can hit snipes like that. Where did Guzzy even go? And now the Serpents are wanting to get aggressive in the mid lane as well, but they'll play it better safe than sorry. They got a big pick onto the mid laner, and they'll just back up instead. Hershey keeping his team in this game right now as Beads and Aegis are forced onto Kingston, who has to get away from the damage from Tyler 2K. But all three birds are still alive. Look at the Titan health. It's really starting to heal now. the Serpents, I mean, they've done a lot here.
Mystic Sea Serpents heard what I wanted, and they've done it about as well as they can. They've pretty much reset the game to neutral. All three Phoenixes back up. Titan at full health, but finally at the 51-minute mark, Toth has left Nizat in the dust on this player damage. 59,000 damage on this Toth. Just making sure that he's landing it all right now. He is making sure that his team stays in. He's landing snipes left and right. He's landing wall ones left and right. He's doing about as much as he can for the Mystic Sea Serpents right now.
What I mean, 52 minutes into the game, builds don't matter anymore. When it comes to like in comparison, right? Everybody's full build. Everybody has power pots, 3K pots. Everybody's level 20. All it comes down to right now is team fights, is coordination, individual skill, and if someone like Hershey's online, it makes it so hard to fight against if you're a team like the Cyberpunk Otters. But they're not giving up yet. They still have EFG for the next 2 seconds, or 32 seconds, excuse me. And they're going to try to find something over here as the Titans, they're marching down the lane once again. But here comes Hershey charging up that ultimate, just letting everybody know that damage is online, that damage is available. It doesn't look like they want to take this fight too aggressively just yet, as we see Krusty's in the mid lane, once again being that annoying split pushing Cuckoo.
Yeah, Hershey just making sure that he lets the entire world know that at any point he can just end someone's career right then and there. They're pushing up once again for this left side bird. Wave's gone. They're going to have to do it themselves if they want it. I just feel like right now, if you cannot get Hershey, I don't know if you can get this bird. That's how confident I am in this Hershey right now. He's just doing such a good job of keeping them back. Even the splits that I'm seeing from the side of Cyberpunk Otters, trying to pressure two birds at the same time, it kind of just not working right now. But they do have a Titan here, and that might be able to finally crack something. We'll have to wait and see as it hits the Phoenix.
They are going to march in with it. The bird taking around half HP damage now, but the Titan falls, and Cyberpunk Otters, they were focused on other things. Kingston will end up falling, but Hershey gets the pick onto Sparked out and is trying to do even more damage. Hershey gets another double kill on the Toth. The bird still stands, and yes, you may have lost your solo laner. They got 2 picks in return. The Serpents keep finding just enough to get themselves in this game, but I gotta say, it's never enough to really find more than that tier 2 in solo one time.
Yeah, just unfortunate that they are not able to kind of leave this base. Kind of at this point, it feels like they just don't know what to do besides the turtle. They don't really know what's up for grabs. But as I say that, they are pushing up. They're going to that fire giant. I am wrong. They're saying, we're done playing in our base. We're done hiding behind the Phoenixes, trying to poke you out between the walls. No. We're going for this fire giant right now.
Not gonna be for free, though. The Otters are very well aware of what's happening. That tornado is doing a lot of damage onto Big Nick, who needs to be careful, but it's a blink in from the Kamazots with the Dharmic Pillars as well, trying to find any sort of kills or picks that they can. But this Cuckoo is just taking enough to walk away for free. This Cuckoo will get a kill instead, and Krusty's will find the pick onto Death the King. The over-aggression, maybe, coming out from the Mystic Sea Serpents is absolutely paid for in blood. And now, late enough into this game, still 70 seconds left on the respawn timer for Death the King. That could make this next EFG very challenging should the Cyberpunk Otters want to get aggressive now.
Definitely a bad time to go down getting picked as EFG is being looked at by Cyberpunk Otters. Stopping for their appetizer at Pyro, though. I definitely think they're going to get both, but this is where Toth wants to be. Let them have Fire Giant. Let them have EFG. I am Toth, and I am here to fight, and that's exactly what Hershey's been doing. In fact, kind of stepping up a little bit, seeing if he wants to toy around with the ultimate. He hasn't charged up. almost secures it, kind of, just a little bit off the mark, is able to back up. They do have EFG as they push down. Now looking at this right side, Phoenix, maybe they just need to look at a different Phoenix. Maybe that's what they needed to shake up, you know? Cyberpunk Otters now taking it to the right side. Will we see them finally take out a bird again at this 56-minute mark? Or is Hershey just that guy? Is he him? Is he Himothy? I don't know. I don't know.
It's seeming like he might be. Death the King has just now respawned, but the bird is absolutely getting melted. But here's Hershey with a pick onto Guzzy, and now the aggression comes out from the Serpent squad. The Phoenix is still standing, and they are still fighting. Camazot's Death the King gets out with what I have to imagine is sub 50 HP, barely living there. But a successful defense again for the Mystic Sea Serpents. And now Hershey, might have actually gotten a little bit too aggressive. He's gone. Calming Nomad will get that one. Tyler 2K gets one, but is answered back by Big Nick Energy, who's in trouble as well. Has the B Dagus, but not enough. Sparked out, says remember me, and gets another pick over here on the right side of the map. Death the King again on the run. The right side bird falls this time once more. And Death the King with a sliver of HP will live through the ring toss. Do they have enough damage to get through this Titan? It's low. It's been 58 minutes and they're trying to find the end here, but I don't know if they quite have enough. Sparked Out wants to take it, but Death the King is not going to give this one up for free. Death the King is trying with the bat out of hell to get it, but the Titan is so low, and after 58 minutes and 14 seconds, the Cyberpunk Otters finally crack the pace of the Mystic Sea Serpents and win the set in a 2-0.
Hershey, thinking that that was his time, heard my calls, tried to go Super Saiyan, wanted more, wanted to pick more so they could finally do something with these leads that they were getting from taking out different members of the Cyberpunk Otters, but unfortunately gets picked himself. And as we learn this game, once the president fell, the country is right behind it. Two more members of Mystic Sea Serpents fall as well, leaving a clutch effort by Death on this Camazotz. Did so much work, but just was unable to push the last three members of the Cyberpunk Otters off that Titan. And at 58 minutes, everybody has enough damage to kill that Titan. I think the Kid Nash could have killed the Titan with his ultimate. So unfortunately, not able to push them off and sealing a 2-0 defeat for the Mystic Sea Serpents.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what amount of that was Hershey feeling himself and wanting to, turn something around, being bored on the siege defense for the past, 25 minutes, or what exactly happened there. But it's just unfortunate that they weren't able, after so many good defenses, they weren't able to keep themselves in the set. But on the other side, the Cyberpunk Otters, they fought tooth and nail for that victory. If you see on paper that the Otters won 2-0 over the Sea Serpents, I don't think you would fully understand what that game 2 was like. Game 1, maybe. That's about what it sounds like. But game 2, that was a hard-fought battle for the Otters, who do manage to get the win, but it was not cheap.
Yeah, Toth, 69,000 damage, but you can't laugh at Krusty's on 60k and Sparked Out on 51k. Just playing phenomenally, making sure that they were getting in for their team. Sparked Out, like, literally being the decoy in a lot of those objective dances, letting himself get super low, but distracting an entire Mystic Sea Serpents team from allowing them to kind of step up onto these fire giants, onto these pyros, onto these golds. So really good job on him too, to just kind of play that mediator, to play that gatekeeper for the rest of his team, especially going against Hershey's Toth, which just was insane. And Big Nick Energy's autos, making sure that those Gold Furies were never safe in the hands of Cyberpunk Otters.
Yeah, that was 2 crazy steals. That feels like a lifetime ago with how long that game went. And I feel so much better that I lost to Hershey's Toth in a ranked game, because I just saw what that looks like from the top-down view. Absolutely terrifying. Ban the Vulcan and the Toth, I guess, if you're against Hershey's team. Something to keep in mind for anybody else in the Canes division. But that's going to do it for us. I ran out of water 30 minutes ago, I think. Did not expect that game to be that long. What a set, though, coming out from these two teams. Once again, I have been Dr. Shrew, joined by Snips with Deacon on the cameras. And we will see you next time on Frank's Retirement Home. Stick around. Well, don't stick around tonight. Nothing else is happening. I didn't want to bait you there. Stick around in the future for more great content.